Now this is the magic part. This factor can be cancelled out. We are going to name this integrating factor. There is something called variation of parameters, and this is something that is the concept that you can use a previous or an old solution to find a new solution. Now you must remember that we just calculated yc equal to c e to the power minus integral p of x dx. So this was the first solution that we got for our differential equation. We have got the first solution, which is yc. Now yp can be based on, I will write a box, draw a box here, and yc. So yc and yp could be related to each other through this box, and we don't know what this box is. So one concept that you will be able to prove later in the course is that if you use a constant inside this box, for example, I use a constant 5 in this box, the new solution is not going to be different from the complementary solution. The new solution is not going to be linearly independent of the previous solution. So yc and yp are still going to be linearly dependent on each other, which is not a good thing. We don't want that. We want the solutions to be different in order to give us different insight about that equation, which is going to become more clear when we go into the applications part. But right now you need to simply realize, and I think it makes sense, that simply multiplying a solution with a constant is just going to shift the plot by some units in the same with the same shape. So we want a new shape. So what we do, we say that there is a new function which is u of x, which is unknown to us, and it is being multiplied to the complementary solution. Now we have done both the things. We have taken into account a previous thing that we already had, which was yc, and now we are using an unknown thing. We are giving the margin of an unknown thing which can be a function of x, so that yp can have a different shape as compared to yc and become linearly independent of yc. This whole procedure is called variation of parameters. But before we do that, what we do is we call only the part other than constant y1, and instead we use yc, we use y1 over here. And the reason is that we don't want to deal with the constant right now. We simply are interested in function of x. So this is our yp, and now yp should be the new solution. But before we do that, we follow the procedure of verification to find the value of yp. And the procedure of verification was that we take the differential equation, which is y prime plus p of x y equal to f of x, and we substitute the value of yp, which is this, into the differential equation, just as if we are trying to verify the solution. But actually what we are going to get out of this procedure is that we are going to find the value of yp, the new value of yp. So let's do that. So the derivative of this, because we're going to need it over here, so yp prime is now the so instead of u of x, I'm just going to type u, write u over here, and y1 whole prime. Now because u is a function of x and y1 is also a function of x, the derivative of product of both of this is going to be derived using the product rule of derivation, which is u prime y1 plus u y1 prime. Now substitute these two values, yp and yp prime, into this equation, and we get u prime y1 plus u y1 prime plus p of x into yp, and yp is u of x, and let's just write u and y1, and on the right hand side we still have f of x. Right, so now we are going to do something just to rearrange stuff a little, and we're going to take u common, and we get y1 prime plus p of x y1 and we also get y1 u prime, and on the right hand side we get f of x. And if you look closely, y1 was just a slightly different form of yc, just a constant different from yc. That means y1 and yc are linearly dependent on each other, and if we substitute the value of y1 into into the homogeneous equation, we are going to get 0 on the right hand side. So all of this becomes 0 because y1 is just, for simplicity, for explanation I can say that this thing is just a slight variant of the complementary of the homogeneous equation on which the complementary solution satisfies the equation, and y1 is just like the complementary solution though. So all of this term is going to become 0, and we get y1 u prime equal to f of x. So from here we get the value of u prime, which is f of x divided by y1. Now we can rewrite u prime as du by dx, and on the right hand side we get f of x over y1. So I can write this down as du equal to f of x divided by y1 dx, and I can take integral on both sides. So on the left hand side I get the value of u, and on the right hand side I get integral f of x divided by, and let me write the value of e to the y1, which is e to the power minus p of x dx, and there will be dx over here. So u becomes equal to, and let me take the numerator the denominator upwards to make it the numerator, so it becomes f of x e to the power minus integral p of x dx, right? So now we have found the value of u, but we haven't found the value of yp was u times y1. So let's use those values and write it down completely. The value of yp would be this, minus p of x, I'm sorry, there's the minus sign is going to go away because we made it the numerator, so there is no minus sign over here, no minus sign over here, dx. And with all of this we have to multiply what? We have to multiply the value of y1, which was e to the power integral minus p of x dx. Now we're going to compile these two solutions, yp and yc, and add them together to make y. That was the deal, right? So we had to make the final solution yp plus yc. So let's plug in the values and take the value of y. So yc was c time e to the power integral minus p of x dx, plus now we have to write the value of yp, which was, we wrote it over here, which was, and let me slightly rearrange that a bit to e to the power minus integral p of x dx and integral of e to the power integral p of x dx, there is no minus sign over here, f of x dx. So this is our final complete solution. So you must be thinking this looks a bit intimidating because it's a long equation. So we're going to make it slightly convenient, because that's the whole point of developing a method. We want to make things convenient for us. So we want to rearrange this stuff. So by rearranging we get e to the power integral p of x dx y equal to c plus integral e to the power integral p of x dx f of x dx. We have simply taken these two terms common and brought them on the left hand side over here. So that is what we did. Okay, so once we have obtained this value, what we do, we differentiate all of this equation. Why we are doing that will become evident in a moment. So on the left hand side, if I take the derivative d by dx of e to the power integral p of x dx y, and on the right hand side the derivative of c is 0, and this integral is going to be cancelled with the derivative, and we are going to be left with e to the power integral p of x dx into f of x, right? So using the product rule on the left hand side, we get e to the power integral p of x dx y plus p of x. We are taking the derivative of this, and the power would come into the front, which is the integral of p of x dx, and we will take derivative of that. So this is the final result, and this is the case. And now we're going to write a y over here, and on the right hand side we get p of x dx f of x. Now this is the magic part. What is happening here? All of these things, this factor can be cancelled out. So that's the magic of this method, that we simply get rid of all of this. And what are we left with? We are left with this, and this part. And there should be a y prime here because we're applying the product rule. So what do we get? We get y prime plus p of x y equal to f of x. And magically we come back to the same equation we started with. And it's no, you shouldn't lose hope at this point, because we have actually achieved something. What we have achieved is that if you have the what we call the integrating factor, we are going to name this thing integrating factor, and you work your way backwards from this point, that we have the equation, we have the integrating factor, you multiply the integrating factor with the equation and you go back. It's very easy to reach the solution y, and the key to reaching this y is hidden in this part, that as soon as I'm going to multiply the integrating factor with the original equation, on the left hand side I am going to simply get the product of the integrating factor and y inside the derivative d by dx. So on the left hand side I'm going to get d by dx of product of the integrating factor and y, while on the right hand side I'm going to have the same thing. And I can immediately take integral on both sides and I can get the value of y. So this will become very easy with an example. So let's do an example. But before we do that, please remember what is the integrating factor. The integrating factor is e to the power integral p of x dx. Let's do an example, which is 2 dy by dx minus 6y equal to 12. So before we move on, you should first see whether this equation is in standard form or not. So in order to make it a standard form, what do? We divide all the equation by the leading coefficient of the highest derivative term, which we named a1, which is the coefficient of dy by dx in this case. So we divide all of the equation by this, 2 dy by dx divided by 2 minus 6 over 2y equal to 12 over 2. So we get y, and I'm going to write y prime instead of dy by dx, minus 3y equal to 6. So if I ask you what is the value of p of x, what it would be? 3, right? So p of x is equal to 3. If we had to calculate the integrating factor, what would be the integrating factor? The integrating factor was, let me call it if, equal to e to the power integral p of x dx. So this would be e to the power integral of p of x, which was 3 dx. And let's calculate the value of integrating factor, which is e to the power 3x, because the integral of 3 with respect to x would be 3x. And because during integration, if you have to take multiple integrations, in each integration the result is an arbitrary constant, you don't need to write the constant of integration again and again. So this is the final result, the integrating factor. Now let me actually make this a standard procedure, and let me tell you, this was step number 1, that you convert the equation in standard form. This is step number 2, that you find the integrating factor. Then step number 3 would be that you multiply the integrating factor with the given differential equation, right? So now the given differential equation is slightly different. This is this equation and not this one, because we changed it into the standard form. Actually let me write it over here, standard form. So e to the power 3x multiplied by y prime minus 3y equal to 6. So let's multiply it inside. E to the power 3x into y prime minus 3y equal to e to the power 3x into 6. Now the good news is that since we have proven the next step, we don't need to prove it again. We simply understand that since this is already proven, on the left hand side, all we need to do is we need to rewrite the left hand side based on a standard procedure, which is step number 4. Let me call it step number 4. And that standard procedure is that if you have multiplied the differential equation with its integrating factor, the left hand side is going to be what? The derivative of product of the integrating factor and y. That's it. No thinking involved over here. Not much thinking. That you need to verify that if I do this, it gets multiplied inside, and is it the does it verify the product? I encourage you to verify it using the product rule, the reverse of product rule. But since we have already proven it, I don't need to do that. So now we what we do is on step 5 we integrate. So let's integrate on both sides, and we get on the left hand side the derivative simply becomes the derivative simply cancels out, and on the right hand side we get 6 dx, right? So now and there would be a constant of integration. Now this is very important because this is the first point we're going to see in this question, and integrate a constant of integration. So y is equal to e to the power 3x, y is equal to, what would be the integral of this? 6 would come out of the integral, and e to the power 3x, the integral of e to the power 3x is 3x, and now we have to take the derivative of 3x, which would be 3 plus c. Now let's rearrange this slightly more, and we get y equal to, so I'm just taking this thing from the left hand side and taking it to the right hand side to each term. When it goes to this term, it gets cancelled with this, and when it goes to this point, it is in the denominator. So let me take this thing to the right hand side, and let me start on the new page. So y is equal to e to the power 3x, 3, and basically 6 and 3 are being multiplied, so we get 18. So 18 e to the power 3x divided by e to the power 3x plus c divided by e to the power 3x. So we get 18 plus c e to the power minus 3x. So this is the complete solution of the given differential equation, which contains both the complementary solutions, the complementary solution and the particular solution. So I'll try to do more of these, or we can have a live session to have to solve more of these, or I can upload a video with more examples, but right now I am leaving you with this, and let me give you another problem. So I am leaving you with this problem. There's a problem and you need to solve it, and please post the results in the comments below so that I can verify whether you have done it correctly or not. The problem says x dy by dx plus 2y equal to 3. So again, this is very obvious here that it is not a separable equation. You won't be able to take the functions in x and y separately over here. You can try it out, and please, okay, so please write in the comments if you tried to take the variables x and y separate and try to verify whether this is a separable or inseparable equation. So please try to do that and try to solve this, and I may give you the solution in the next video, so hope for that, and but please try it on yourself as well. Thanks for watching. See you next time, inshallah.